Father's Lock here in the sweetest place on earth, Hershey, Pennsylvania. You can see the Hershey's Chocolate World behind me. Over there are the Hershey trolleys, the very famous ones. I got the stadium over here to my right. We were here over the last couple of days with the Archbishop and the priest of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia for a priest convocation, which we haven't had in about 3 years. So it was really great getting together with all the other priests. And the theme of this week's convocation was discerning our path of hope together. I'm going to probably do a couple of porch talks about this because the last couple of days covered a lot of material. It was very upbeat, very hopeful, very encouraging. Let me just give you a quick summary of what Archbishop Perez said and what he's hoping for, because we said, Archbishop, okay, 30,000 feet, what's the vision moving forward, or what are you hoping for? And he said, okay, 3 things. Number 1, Philadelphia has been through some really rough times in the last couple of years, and so we got to move from crisis to hope. And part of this convocation was to concretely figure a way on what that hope can look like. Now, the second thing is, if we're going to move forward, we're going to need to build up some resources. Many of them have been depleted over the last couple of years, and so we need to be able to build those up so that we actually have the materials that we need to be able to do our ministry. And then the third thing that he said, and he said unequivocally, this is the most important. In Philadelphia and in our parishes, we need to build a culture of missionary intentional discipleship, and we'll be talking more and more about that as we get the results of the Disciple Maker Index back, probably within the next couple of days. But just to start off, I wanted to kind of give you a bit of an overview on where the Archbishop's mindset was. I also want to give you a little bit of an idea about what was happening here. We looked at 2 things. One of them was the general idea about the parishes in terms of the Disciple Maker Index, but more important, or just as important, was that we spent a lot of time on the priests, and we were working with Catholic Leadership Institute about an instrument for priest personal planning that will look at the various dimensions of what it means to be a happy and a holy and a healthy priest. There's a human dimension, there's an intellectual dimension, there's a pastoral dimension, and there's a spiritual dimension. And Catholic leadership actually gave us a couple of instruments, a couple of questionnaires a couple of months ago, and we looked at the results of those questionnaires. And I'm going to be going into a little bit more depth later about that. One of the things that I am definitely going to be doing is I'm going to be gathering a couple of friends and a couple of parishioners around me to look at the results of the questionnaire for me, and where are the areas that I seem to be doing well. Are there some areas of growth, and what are some 3 specific areas that I want to work on over the next 12 months. It's going to be the same thing we're going to do in the parish. Where are a couple of areas where we want to focus on as a parish over the next say 12 months, but naturally it always starts with at the top. It starts with the leader, and therefore in that regards it starts with me. Just as a little aside, the reason I came over here is off in the distance there is kind of the Hershey chocolate store. It's rather big area, and my staff asked if I would pick up some special dark Hershey's Kisses, and they are out. There were no special dark Hershey's Kisses at the Hershey Museum. There were no special dark Hershey Kisses at the Hershey Lodge, and the Lodge ended up calling the warehouse, and the warehouse says, we are out. But they said, well, maybe if you go over to Chocolate World, there's the big store there, and I got the last 2 bags of Hershey's Special Dark Chocolate Kisses. The things that I do to feed the addictions of my staff. That is dedication.